It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. What if I told you that the secret to making a woman genuinely obsessed with you isn't about grand gestures or endless compliments, but about subtle psychological triggers rooted deep in human nature and timeless Stoic wisdom? Imagine unlocking a side of female psychology that few men truly understand, giving you an unshakable edge in relationships and attraction. In this video, we're diving deep into 7 powerful psychological triggers that can captivate her mind and heart. Triggers so effective, they almost seem like secrets whispered by the ancient Stoics themselves. Whether you want to create undeniable magnetic chemistry or simply understand the fascinating dance of attraction, this insight will change how you see relationships forever. Stay with me till the very end, because the last trigger holds the key to mastering not just attraction, but your own mindset, a Stoic secret that will elevate your confidence and presence in ways you never imagined. Ready to uncover what really makes her obsessed? Let's get started. Number 1. Confidence. Confidence. It's one of those elusive qualities that can transform the way women see you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. Think about it. Confidence isn't just about being loud or flashy. It's deeper, quieter, and far more powerful. A great Stoic philosopher once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that confidence grows not from perfection, but from facing your fears and pushing forward anyway. You want to embody that, calm, steady, and unshakable. When you walk into a room with confidence, you're not demanding attention, you're simply comfortable in your own skin. And that comfort, it's magnetic. Women are wired to notice when a man carries himself with genuine assurance. But here's the catch, you can't fake this. True confidence comes from within. It's about trusting yourself, your choices, and your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. That means embracing your imperfections and recognizing that they don't diminish your worth, they make you real. So start shifting your mindset. Instead of worrying about what could go wrong or how you might be judged, focus on the fact that you're enough, exactly as you are. Try this. Every morning, take a moment to remind yourself that you have control over your reactions. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you start owning your responses rather than letting circumstances dictate your mood, you begin to build an unbreakable foundation of self-respect. That respect is the cornerstone of confidence. You'll notice that the more you trust yourself, the less you need validation from others, and that independence is incredibly attractive. Now, confidence isn't about being fearless, no one is. It's about moving forward in spite of fear. So next time you feel hesitation creeping in, don't freeze. Lean into it. Ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? Usually, the answer is far less scary than your mind made it out to be. By practicing this mental exercise regularly, you'll find that fear loses its grip, and you start to act more freely and authentically. That authenticity is pure gold when it comes to attraction. Women sense when you're being real, and that trust creates a magnetic pull. Here's another powerful way to build confidence. Set small challenges for yourself every day. It could be as simple as making eye contact with strangers or speaking up in a meeting. These tiny victories add up and remind you that you're capable of stepping outside your comfort zone. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control. Your actions are always in your control, no matter the outcome. When you adopt this mindset, you stop wasting energy on things outside your influence, and that clarity frees you to be your best self. Remember, confidence is a habit, not a trait you're born with. Like a muscle, it grows stronger with use. So don't wait for the perfect moment or until you feel ready. Start now. Stand a little taller, speak a little clearer, and carry yourself with the quiet assurance that you are enough. When you do this consistently, women will notice. not because you're trying to impress, but because you're radiating a natural strength that draws them in effortlessly. At the end of the day, the real secret to confidence lies in accepting yourself fully and acting despite doubt. The Stoics had it right. Focus on what you can control, meet challenges head-on, and live with integrity. This isn't just a strategy to attract women, it's a path to becoming a man who is unshakable from the inside out. So go ahead, take that first step. Face your fears, build your confidence daily. Because when you do, you don't just make women obsessed, you make yourself unstoppable. Number 2, mystery. Mystery is like an invisible magnet in the world of attraction. It pulls her closer, keeps her curious, and fuels a desire that's hard to resist. When you cultivate an air of mystery, you're not just hiding things for the sake of secrecy. You're creating a space where her mind begins to wander, wonder, and engage in the dance of discovery. Imagine the power you hold when you're not an open book, when your thoughts and feelings are not laid out on the table for anyone to read. This is the kind of allure that Stoic philosophers would appreciate. It's about mastering yourself, holding your center, and not being swayed by the need to reveal everything immediately. Once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This teaches us the importance of restraint and integrity, but it also hints at the power of timing, knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. You want to embody that kind of calm confidence where you don't feel pressured to explain yourself all the time. Instead, you allow her to fill in the gaps with her imagination. That's where mystery thrives, in what's unsaid, what's left to be discovered, and in your ability to remain composed and self-contained. When you're mysterious, you're inviting her into a game of intrigue. She's compelled to lean in, to pay attention, and to want more. It's not about playing tricks or manipulation. It's about valuing yourself enough to not be an open book, and trusting that those who truly matter will want to uncover who you are on their own time. To get there, start by practicing silence more often. Not the awkward kind, but the powerful, deliberate kind that signals depth. When she asks you something, resist the urge to spill everything immediately. Give thoughtful, sometimes brief answers, letting your words carry weight. You don't owe anyone a full biography, and by keeping some things just for yourself, you build a quiet strength. It's like standing firm in your own inner world, untouched by the constant noise around you. Another practical step is to cultivate interests and passions that don't require constant explanation. When you have your own projects, goals, and a life that's full without needing external validation, you naturally become a man of substance, someone who is interesting, even if he doesn't say much about himself. Try this exercise. In your conversations, aim to listen more than you talk. When you do speak, make your words intentional, layered with meaning, not just filling the silence. Notice how this changes her energy towards you. Curiosity builds when there's a balance between sharing and withholding, when she feels she's not rushing through pages but savoring a novel. This is where you step into your power, not by revealing everything up front, but by creating moments that invite her in gradually, at her own pace. Remember, mystery isn't about playing games or being cold. It's about respecting yourself and the process of connection. Seneca said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." When you scatter yourself too thin by oversharing or trying too hard to impress, you lose your magnetic focus. Instead, be present, be intentional, and let your essence shine quietly. There's a strength in being a man who is fully himself without needing constant approval. That strength, wrapped in mystery, makes you irresistible. As you practice this, you'll notice something subtle but powerful happening. People, especially women, will begin to seek you out more. Not because you're flashy or loud, but because you carry an aura of self-possession and depth. This triggers their natural curiosity and desire, making them want to invest energy into knowing you better. That's the real secret. Mystery isn't a trick, it's a way of being. It's a mindset that you can build every day by being calm, intentional, and a little elusive. So start now. Practice holding back just a little, let silence do some of the work, and watch how you become more magnetic. Mystery is not something you fake. It's something you grow by becoming comfortable in your own skin, by respecting your own boundaries, and by allowing others to come closer slowly. When you do this, you're not just attracting her attention, you're inviting her into a deeper, more meaningful connection. And that's a kind of power that lasts. Number 3, consistency. When it comes to making a lasting impression and truly capturing a woman's attention, nothing is more powerful than consistency. It might sound simple or even a bit boring compared to flashy gestures or grand declarations, but consistency is where real attraction builds its foundation. Imagine this: a rock, unmoved by the crashing waves around it. That's the kind of steady presence you want to cultivate. One of the great Stoic minds reminds us, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Consistency means aligning your actions and words with your true self and doing it reliably. When you practice this, you become someone she can trust without question. Women, like all humans, crave reliability deep down. It's a signal that you're dependable, that you won't vanish when life gets tough, and that your character isn't just a show. You want her to see you as a constant in her world, someone who doesn't wobble like a leaf in the wind but stands firm like a tree rooted in the earth. That kind of stability creates a magnetic pull, a sense of safety, and an emotional investment that's hard to break. But here's the catch: this isn't about being predictable in a dull way. It's about being reliably authentic and true to your values every day. Now, to make consistency your secret weapon, start small. Don't overwhelm yourself trying to change everything overnight. Instead, pick one habit or behavior that reflects who you want to be. Maybe it's how you respond to messages or how you follow through on plans. Commit to showing up like clockwork. It might seem trivial, but these little moments add up in ways you can't see right away. You're not just building habits, you're crafting an unshakable identity. Like Epictetus said, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit." Let that sink in. Excellence is a habit, and habits are built through repetition. Practice noticing where inconsistency sneaks into your life. Maybe it's saying you'll call but then forgetting, or showing interest one day and being distant the next. Women pick up on these fluctuations more than you think. They don't want perfection, but they want to feel your steady presence. So, when you catch yourself slipping, gently remind yourself to realign with your true intention. This isn't about pressure or guilt. It's about becoming the person you admire, someone who follows through and stands by their word. An easy but powerful exercise is to create a small consistency challenge for yourself. Choose one action that represents reliability and do it daily for 21 days. It could be something as simple as sending a thoughtful message or maintaining eye contact during conversations. This builds momentum, rewires your brain for consistency, and boosts your confidence. Over time, this isn't just a behavior, it becomes part of your character. The more you do it, the more natural it feels, and the more magnetic you become without even trying. Remember, consistency isn't about rigidity or suppressing your spontaneity. It's about anchoring your values and intentions in a way that others can count on. When you embody this, you're living the Stoic ideal of being steady and unshaken by external chaos. You're showing her that you're not a passing storm but a reliable presence in her life. That's incredibly attractive. So start today. Think about one area where you want to be more consistent. Commit to it with calm determination and patience. Every time you keep your word, you're reinforcing trust and deepening attraction. This isn't just about women, it's about becoming a better version of yourself, someone who lives with integrity and purpose. Because at the end of the day, that's what real magnetism is all about. Number 4, emotional control. When it comes to emotional control, There's something profoundly magnetic about a man who can stay steady no matter what life throws at him. You might not realize it yet, but mastering your emotions is one of the most powerful things you can do, not just for attracting women, but for transforming your entire life. Imagine for a moment how attractive it is when a man isn't tossed around by every little frustration or moment of uncertainty. That calm, that unshakable center, it's like a quiet force pulling people in, especially women. They sense it deep down because it signals strength, maturity, and trustworthiness. The Stoics called it not numbness, but freedom from being ruled by wild emotions. Once reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That's the key. The strength to choose your response, no matter what's happening around you. Now, this isn't about pretending you're a stone or bottling everything up. It's about recognizing your emotions as signals, not dictators. When you learn to observe your feelings without immediately reacting, you're building a muscle that women find irresistibly attractive. You show that you're not just reacting to life's chaos, but that you're calmly steering your ship through it. Think about it. How many people do you know who lose their cool over small stuff? And how often do you notice yourself gravitating towards someone who's steady, composed, and reliable? That's exactly the kind of magnetic energy emotional control generates. You want to start training this skill right now. A simple but powerful exercise is to pause for a moment the next time you feel irritation or anxiety creeping in. Don't dive into reaction mode. Instead, take a deep breath. Literally, slow your breath down. The Stoics were masters at this kind of mental reset. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." When you slow down and observe your emotions, you separate the fear or anger from the reality of the moment. You don't get swept away by the storm because you're anchored in yourself. Try this whenever you feel triggered. Ask yourself quietly, is this within my control? If the answer is no, which is often the case, let it go. Focus instead on how you respond. This practice isn't just some nice to have, it's your gateway to becoming a man who women notice effortlessly. They feel safe around you because you don't buckle under pressure. Instead, you're the calm in the storm, the rock that others can lean on. And that security, it's magnetic. You might worry that emotional control sounds cold or distant, but that's far from the truth. It actually opens you up to deeper connections because you're not driven by impulsive highs and lows. You bring stability, and that stability is a foundation for real intimacy. So commit to this daily. When your emotions rise, don't fight them or ignore them. Acknowledge them, but don't hand over the steering wheel. This is a habit you build over time. Keep reminding yourself of a wisdom. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this, you have the power to revoke at any moment. By owning your emotional world, you're also practicing self-respect and self-mastery, and those qualities don't just attract women, they elevate your entire life. You're not just becoming more desirable, you're becoming a man who lives on his own terms, calmly, confidently, and irresistibly. So start now. The moment you feel your mind racing or your feelings boiling, take a breath, step back, and regain control. Make this your new normal. Watch how everything changes when you're no longer a slave to your emotions, but their master instead. Number 5, ambition. Ambition, it's more than just a word or a vague idea. It's the fuel that drives you forward, the quiet force that pushes you to become more than you are right now. When you think about what truly captivates a woman on a deeper level, ambition isn't just about having goals or chasing success. It's about showing that you're a man who is constantly evolving, striving for growth with purpose and discipline. Imagine embodying that kind of energy, the kind that naturally pulls her in because it signals you have a vision, a direction, and the commitment to see things through no matter what. Once said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. This isn't just philosophy, it's a call to action. Be the man who embodies ambition in every part of his life, not for show, but because you understand that steady progress and inner drive make you irresistible. Now, ambition doesn't have to mean climbing a corporate ladder or chasing flashy achievements. It's about having a clear purpose, however big or small, and pursuing it with unshakable focus. Think about your own life. What's that one thing that makes you want to jump out of bed, that stirs a fire inside? Maybe it's a project, a skill you want to master, or a personal challenge that you know will test you. That burning desire to improve, to reach beyond comfort, is magnetic. Women pick up on that energy. It tells them you're someone who won't settle, someone who respects himself enough to keep growing. The Stoics taught us the importance of inner excellence over external validation, and ambition rooted in personal values is exactly that. Striving not for applause, but for your own steady advancement. Here, something you can start doing today to harness this. Set a goal that scares you just a little bit. Something that's meaningful but feels slightly out of reach. Now break it down into tiny, manageable steps. Each day, take at least one small action toward that goal. No distractions, no excuses. This consistent movement, even when it feels slow, builds momentum. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to show up again and again. This is what ambition really looks like in action, quiet persistence that compounds over time. And when you live like this, your confidence grows naturally, which is another huge attractor. Another powerful Stoic reminder comes from Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Ambition isn't about never failing or never feeling discouraged. It's about how you respond when things don't go your way. Do you crumble? Do you get angry or bitter? Or do you see setbacks as lessons, as fuel to push harder? Developing that mindset shifts your entire energy. You become a man who owns his path no matter what's thrown at you. And trust me, women notice that resilience, that refusal to be defined by circumstances. It's magnetic because it signals you're reliable, strong, and committed not just to a dream but to yourself. Here's a practical exercise. When you face a setback, pause for a moment, take a deep breath. Then ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me better? Write down your answers, even if they seem simple or obvious. This practice rewires your brain to see ambition not just as reaching for success, but as an ongoing journey of self-mastery. And as you internalize this, your presence will change. You'll carry yourself differently, with calm determination that speaks louder than words. Ambition is a quiet kind of power. It doesn't need to shout or boast because it's rooted in integrity and purpose. And when you embody this kind of ambition, you're not just chasing someone else's idea of success, you're living your own truth, your own values. This is deeply attractive because it shows you're grounded, intentional, and moving forward with meaning. So start today. Find your purpose. Break it down. Embrace setbacks as lessons. Be consistent. Be patient. Be unstoppable. As Seneca said, if one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable. Know your port. Set your course. And watch how that ambition doesn't just make you better, it makes you unforgettable. Number 6, authenticity. When it comes to making a woman truly obsessed with you, nothing beats the power of authenticity. You might have heard it a million times, just be yourself. But what does that actually mean, and why is it so magnetic? Let me tell you, authenticity isn't some vague idea or empty advice. It's a force that can captivate her mind and heart like almost nothing else. When you show up in your genuine self, without masks or pretenses, you're radiating a kind of confidence that's deeply attractive. One of the greatest Stoic minds once said, "Be yourself, for that is all you can be." This isn't just philosophy, it's a secret weapon in the art of attraction. When you fully accept who you are and express it openly, you're sending a signal that you are comfortable in your own skin. That kind of comfort invites connection because people, especially women, sense when someone is real and grounded. Now think about this. How often do you catch yourself adjusting or pretending around others? Maybe it's subtle, a slight tone change, a forced smile, or holding back your true opinions. The problem is those little cracks add up. They build walls instead of bridges. Women are incredibly intuitive. They can feel when something's off, even if they can't put their finger on it. When you start showing your authentic self, you break down those walls. You stop chasing validation because you know your value is intrinsic, not borrowed. This shift doesn't just attract women, it transforms how you feel about yourself. Imagine how powerful that is. You become a man who commands respect not through loud gestures or empty promises, but through quiet certainty. So how do you start being authentic? First, get brutally honest with yourself. What are your values? What do you truly care about? The Stoics believe that living according to your nature and virtues is the path to a fulfilled life. You can apply that here. Take a moment each day to check in with yourself. Ask, am I acting in a way that's true to who I am, or am I wearing a mask to please others? When you catch yourself slipping, pause and course correct. This is a muscle you build over time. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to drop the act and stand firm in your truth. Next, embrace your flaws and quirks. They are part of your authentic charm. Perfection is a myth, and chasing it will only trap you in endless self-doubt. Instead, show your imperfections proudly. When you're open about what makes you unique, you invite others to do the same. This vulnerability creates a powerful emotional bond. It's like a secret language of trust and realness that women can't resist. Remember, Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So own your story, your past, and the lessons you've learned. This attitude makes you relatable and fascinating, not distant or untouchable. Here's a practical exercise to make this real. Every day, write down one thing that you like about yourself, something genuine, no matter how small. It could be your sense of humor, your patience, or even how you keep your promises. Then, find one action that aligns with that trait and commit to it. For example, if you value honesty, make a conscious effort to speak your mind respectfully in a conversation. Over time, these small steps compound and help you build a rock-solid foundation of authenticity. Finally, let go of the fear of rejection or judgment. This fear is the biggest barrier between you and your authentic self. The Stoics remind us that external opinions are beyond our control, and worrying about them only steals our peace. When you stop fearing what others think, you free yourself to be real. And that freedom, it's magnetic. Women don't just notice it, they're drawn to it. You become a man who's not only attractive but irresistible because you live with integrity and self-respect. So start today. Make a promise to yourself that you'll live authentically. No more pretending, no more hiding. Be that man who knows who he is and isn't afraid to show it. Because when you do, you don't just attract women, you create deep, lasting desire. That's the power of authenticity, and it's yours to claim. Number 7, challenge. All right, let's dive deep into the power of challenge, one of those magnetic psychological triggers that can truly shift the way women perceive you, making you unforgettable in their minds. Challenge isn't just about playing hard to get or being distant. It's a far richer concept, rooted in ancient wisdom, especially Stoicism. Said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Think about that. Challenge isn't a roadblock, it's the path itself. A way to build attraction by being someone who doesn't just passively exist, but moves through life with resilience and purpose. When you embody challenge, you're not just giving her something to chase. You're showing her the kind of man who faces life head-on without losing his calm. And that, my friend, is irresistible. You see, women are wired to notice strength, not just physical but mental and emotional strength. Challenge creates that tension, a pull that draws her curiosity and desire. When you present yourself as a man who embraces obstacles, who thrives when things get tough, you spark something primal in her. But here's the catch. This isn't about creating unnecessary drama or being a jerk. It's about cultivating a mindset where difficulties don't shake you but sharpen you. That's what true challenge is. It's you standing firm, undeterred by external noise or fleeting emotions. Imagine how magnetic that is, someone who can weather storms without losing their center. That's the kind of man who commands respect and ignites fascination. Now, how do you start owning this challenge energy? Begin by looking at how you respond to small setbacks daily. Instead of shrugging them off or complaining, see each one as a chance to practice resilience. Say to yourself, "This moment is my training ground." When a plan doesn't go right or a conversation gets tricky, pause. Don't rush to fix or avoid it. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn here? How can I grow stronger? That little mental shift puts you in the driver's seat of your emotional state. And here's the magic. When you're calm and composed, you naturally project an aura of challenge without even trying. It's subtle but incredibly powerful. Try this exercise. For 1 week, whenever you face an inconvenience or irritation, resist the urge to react impulsively. Take a deep breath, recall words, and remind yourself that this obstacle isn't stopping you, it's moving you forward. Reflect on how that changes your mood and your interaction with others. This practice builds your inner fortress, the kind of strength that makes you stand out from the crowd. Remember, challenge doesn't mean being unapproachable. It means being authentically yourself, with a grounded confidence that doesn't bend easily. Another practical step is to set personal challenges regularly, not the kind that exhaust you, but ones that stretch you just enough to grow. Maybe it's learning a new skill, waking up earlier, or holding a conversation with someone outside your comfort zone. Each challenge you overcome builds your story, your narrative of growth and strength. This is the narrative women are drawn to because it signals that you're constantly evolving, that you don't settle for mediocrity. That hunger for growth combined with steady calm is like a magnet pulling her attention deeper and deeper. At its core, challenge is about balance. You want to be strong but flexible, persistent but patient. Like the Stoics taught, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Women feel that strength when you carry it quietly but unmistakably. When you stop being reactive and start being proactive with your energy and emotions, you become a force of nature. Not in a loud or aggressive way, but in a way that makes her want to be close, to know more, to be inspired. So, if you want to use challenge as a psychological trigger, start today by welcoming obstacles as your allies instead of your enemies. Change your relationship with difficulty. See every tough moment as a chance to build the kind of man who doesn't just survive but thrives. Take those small daily exercises seriously. Your calm in chaos will speak louder than any words you say. And remember, in the eyes of female psychology and Stoic wisdom alike, the man who can face challenge with grace is the man who becomes unforgettable. Start now, and watch how your presence begins to shift, how desire quietly but powerfully takes root. Now that you know these 7 powerful psychological triggers that can make women genuinely obsessed with you, remember, it's not about manipulation, but understanding the deep layers of female psychology and mastering your own Stoic mindset. True attraction comes from confidence, respect, and authentic connection. If you found these insights eye-opening, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the secrets that will elevate your relationships and personal growth. Drop a comment below with which trigger surprised you the most or your own experience. I'd love to hear from you. Stay calm, stay grounded, and keep leveling up. Until next time, embrace the Stoic way and watch how your connections transform. He who engages you conquers you. Elizabethan adaptation of Epictetus. What if I told you that many of the subtle challenges she throws your way aren't about you at all? They're a test of your composure, your patience, and your self-mastery. Every glance, every tone, every pause could be a quiet probe into how grounded you really are. And here's the secret most men miss. How you respond in these moments doesn't just determine her perception of you, it reveals your own inner strength. In this video, we're breaking down 7 unmistakable signs she's testing you, and more importantly, how a Stoic would respond when faced with each one. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions or being cold. It's about mastering them, staying unshakable, and acting with clarity rather than reaction. By the end of this video, you'll not only be able to recognize these tests instantly, but also handle them in a way that naturally commands respect and attraction. So stick with me until the very end, because the final sign is the one most people completely overlook, and it could be a game changer in how you navigate every relationship challenge from here on out. Your composure, confidence, and clarity are about to level up. Number 1, she gauges your reaction to her teasing or sarcasm. One of the most subtle ways she's testing you is through teasing or sarcasm. It's not about being mean or trying to hurt you. It's a quiet probe, a way to see how steady you are under pressure, how anchored you remain in your own sense of self. You might feel that prick of irritation, the quick flash of defensiveness rising in your chest, or maybe even a flicker of embarrassment. That's exactly the moment to pause. Because, as Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The way you respond to that teasing is a mirror, reflecting not only your emotional state but your inner discipline. When you let a sarcastic remark twist your mood, even slightly, you're giving your power away. You're reacting to external forces instead of standing firm in your own center. The first step is awareness. You have to catch yourself in the moment before your mind spirals into frustration, defensiveness, or overthinking. Feel the initial reaction, notice it, but don't act on it. Take a breath. Give yourself permission to be calm. Seneca once said, "No man is crushed by misfortune unless he has first been deceived by prosperity." In this context, think of sarcasm as just another external event, neither good nor bad, something that cannot touch your value unless you let it. Your calm is your choice. Your response is your territory. Next, train yourself to detach from the instinct to prove yourself. Often, sarcasm triggers an urge to justify, to defend, or to fight back. But here, where your stoic muscles grow, when she teases instead of snapping back or over-explaining, practice maintaining neutral composure. Let your demeanor say without a word that your stability is not negotiable. Your silence, or measured, calm response, is more powerful than any verbal rebuttal. Wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change. I ask you, however, to spare me the storms of idle insults." Apply this daily. Each moment of measured restraint strengthens your internal fortress. You can also use this as an exercise in observation. Watch the teasing, dissect it without judgment. Ask yourself, is it an attack or simply a test of my composure? By reframing, you turn a potential trigger into a training ground. You learn to separate your self-worth from external validation. This is not about suppression, it's about mastery. You acknowledge the stimulus without letting it dictate your inner state. You respond with intention rather than impulse. And let's make it practical. Start small. When someone teases you, pause for 3 deep breaths before responding. Say nothing at first, just feel the sensation of being tested. Notice the rising heat or tension, observe it like a scientist observing a storm, and then decide, will I react or will I rise above? Repeat this consistently. Soon, your reactions will shift from reactive to deliberate. The teasing will no longer have a hook into your emotions, and you'll notice something powerful, a quiet respect from others, because you've proven that your inner peace is yours to command. Finally, reflect at the end of the day. Consider the moments where teasing triggered you and where it didn't. Journal or mentally note your progress. Ask yourself, where did I maintain composure and where did I falter? This reflection isn't self-criticism, it's your Stoic audit, a way to sharpen your mind and fortify your character. Remember, the goal isn't to suppress your humanity, but to elevate it. By responding to teasing with calmness, humor, or thoughtful silence, you demonstrate a mastery that's magnetic. You are no longer a leaf tossed in the wind of someone else's words. You stand anchored, unshakable, composed. That is how a Stoic responds, and that is how you transform a simple tease into a stepping stone toward emotional mastery. Number 2, she observes how you handle her moods or irritations. One of the clearest ways she's testing you is by watching how you respond when her moods shift or when she shows irritation. This isn't about manipulation or games in the malicious sense. It's a subtle observation, almost like she's seeing if your foundation is steady or if it wobbles at the first gust of wind. And this is where Stoicism becomes a game changer. Because you see, as Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That is the core principle you need to embody here. The moment she notices that you can stay calm, collected, and unshaken, your presence gains a new kind of weight. It's not about trying to impress, it's about showing that your inner world is yours to govern, not hers or anyone else. So how do you train yourself to respond this way? Start by observing your own reactions before you ever interact with her moods. The next time you feel that pinch of annoyance or the flicker of tension, don't act on impulse. Pause, just breathe. Even a few seconds of conscious reflection can break the habitual reaction that makes you tense, defensive, or reactive. Advised, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Those moments when she's testing your patience or composure are precisely the training ground for that power. You're not being passive, you're choosing intentionality. Next, focus on framing your mind. Instead of thinking, she's being difficult, reframe it to, this is an opportunity to practice serenity. Change the narrative you tell yourself. Each irritation, each mood swing is a mirror reflecting how well you've mastered yourself. Ask yourself, do I let this control my emotions or do I respond with calm clarity? Make it a small, daily exercise. Even imagining scenarios in your mind where moods shift and rehearsing your steady, composed response can build a kind of emotional resilience that becomes automatic over time. Another exercise is what I call the silent observer. When tension arises, try observing the situation as if you are watching someone else's story unfold. Notice your own heartbeat, your thoughts, your impulses, without judgment. The moment you step out of the narrative of reacting, you reclaim control. You'll find that this not only helps in interactions with her, but slowly rewires your general approach to stress and provocation. You begin to realize that no external mood, irritation, or sudden upset has the power to dictate your inner calm unless you allow it. And here's the subtle magic of it all. When she sees that you don't crumble, don't lash out, and don't overcompensate, her perception of you changes. It's not a performance, it's a demonstration of mastery. You embody the Stoic ideal, unmoved by external turbulence, rooted in your own principles. That steadiness, that unshakable calm, becomes magnetic. It's the kind of presence that naturally commands respect, without you needing to assert it verbally or forcefully. Seneca put it perfectly. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. When you respond with calm, you signal that no mood, no irritation, no fluctuation in her behavior can create unnecessary suffering in your mind. Finally, make this practice habitual. Every interaction, every small test of patience, is a chance to reinforce the muscle of composure. Reflect at the end of the day. When did I react with clarity? When did I allow impulse to sneak in? Each reflection strengthens your ability to remain grounded the next time the moods shift. Remember, this isn't about denying feelings. It's about mastering the choice of which feelings you act on and how. By doing this consistently, you transform these tests into opportunities to grow, to sharpen your inner stability, and to cultivate a quiet strength that is entirely your own. So the next time she observes your reaction to her moods, meet it not with tension, not with anxiety, but with calm, thoughtful presence. That is where true mastery lies, and it's the kind of mastery that doesn't just impress. It transforms how you engage with the world entirely. Number 3, she notices your response when she tests your patience. One of the clearest signs she's testing you is the way she watches how you respond when your patience is pushed to the edge. This isn't about her trying to provoke you for her own amusement. It's a subtle way she observes your character, your self-control, your ability to remain steady when things don't go your way. And here's the truth you need to absorb. Your reaction in those moments reveals far more about you than it does about her. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. That's your North Star. Every time you feel the irritation bubbling up, every time the impulse to snap or complain arises, it's a chance for you to practice mastery over your own mind. You're not just enduring a test, you're training your soul. Notice how your body reacts. There's that tightness in your chest, the clenching in your jaw, the sudden heat rushing to your face. That's your instinct, your primal self saying, react now, defend yourself. But Stoicism teaches you to pause, to detach from the first flash of emotion. Here's a practical exercise. When you feel that flare of impatience, breathe in slowly, hold it for 3 counts, and exhale deliberately. Do it twice. Feel the space it creates between your instinct and your action. That gap, however small, is your freedom. That's where your character is forged. You need to adopt a mindset where you understand that patience is not passive. It's active, it's powerful, and it communicates strength without words. When she tests your patience, she's not just gauging annoyance. She's measuring whether you are someone who lets emotions dictate your behavior, or whether you can hold steady like a rock in the middle of a storm. Once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That's not philosophy for reading. That's philosophy for doing. Every moment of irritation is a micro-laboratory where you can practice controlling what's within your power. Your mind, your choices, your composure. Now let's make this tangible. Start noticing triggers. Pay attention when something she does makes you feel impatient. Ask yourself silently, is this within my control? Can I choose my response? If the answer is yes, then take it seriously. If the answer is no, let it go. Don't argue, don't react, don't feed the storm. Simply act from a place of reason. This is where you grow. This is where you show not just her but yourself that you are governed by principle, not impulse. And here's the kicker. Consistency matters more than perfection. You won't be flawless. You'll slip, frustration will get the better of you sometimes, but that's okay. The point is to keep returning to practice, to keep noticing your reactions, and to refine your patience each day. Seneca advises, no man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity. Those moments of testing, of tension, are not punishments. They're opportunities to stretch your mind, to sculpt your temperament, to demonstrate that your peace is yours alone, unshaken by external forces. So you must commit to self-awareness. Feel the irritation, name it, step back, respond with calm, not fury. Each time you do this, you reinforce a habit of unshakable composure. Over time, it becomes second nature. She will notice, yes, but more importantly, you will notice. You will feel the confidence that comes from knowing no outside test, no challenge, no provocation can push you into chaos unless you allow it. And that is true mastery. That is the Stoic way. That is how you transform every little test of patience into a quiet triumph of your own strength and freedom. Number 4, she checks if you remain consistent under social pressure. One of the clearest signs she's testing you is when she subtly puts you under social pressure, observing whether you stay consistent in your behavior, your values, and your principles. She's not just asking questions or gauging your charm. She's watching how you respond when the stakes shift, when others' opinions crowd the space around you. It's in these moments that your true character reveals itself. Once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That's exactly what this is about. You don't need to perform, impress, or adjust yourself to fit anyone else's expectations. Your consistency is your quiet power. When you remain steady, calm, and true to yourself, you communicate more than words ever could. You show that your inner world is untouchable, that you are guided by reason and principle, not by the fleeting tides of social influence. To cultivate this kind of consistency, you have to start with awareness. Begin noticing your own reactions in situations where pressure mounts. Are you swayed by a crowd? Do you compromise your words or your boundaries to win approval? Stoics teach that we can't always control what happens around us, but we can control how we respond. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So the exercise here is simple but profound. Before you speak, act, or even react, pause, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this action aligned with who I am? Is this choice grounded in my values? Make this pause your shield, your anchor. Over time, it becomes second nature, a steady rhythm that others can't unsettle. Another practical step is to define your non-negotiables. What are the principles you refuse to abandon, no matter the circumstances? Whether it's honesty, patience, respect, or composure, make a mental list. Then rehearse standing by them in imagined scenarios. Visualize pressure mounting around you. Picture yourself facing subtle tests, social nudges, or manipulative comments. See yourself staying calm, unflinching, unwavering. This mental rehearsal strengthens your mind, your inner discipline, and your presence. You begin to understand that consistency is less about rigid stubbornness and more about a quiet confidence that nothing external can shake. Here's another way to internalize this. Adopt the mindset that every social interaction is a mirror. When she or anyone else tries to sway you, it's not about them. It's about discovering how anchored you are in yourself. Are you pliable enough to bend when bending compromises your values? Or do you remain steady, firm, yet gracious? The latter is the Stoic way, and it is incredibly magnetic because it communicates strength without arrogance. Practice responding calmly to minor pressures first, in low-stakes situations. Each small victory builds resilience. Each time you choose consistency over reaction, you reinforce a habit that will carry you through far more significant tests. Finally, remind yourself that being consistent under social pressure is not about suppressing emotion or becoming rigid. It's about mastering yourself. Seneca said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Your calm and deliberate behavior under scrutiny is freedom in action. You are free from the need for external approval because your inner compass is steady. And that is not only attractive, it's a kind of presence that communicates integrity, security, and respect for both yourself and others. Every time you practice this, every time you pause, reflect, and choose your principle over the crowd, you are not only passing her test, you are cultivating a lifelong habit that will elevate every relationship, every interaction, and every decision you make. So start today. Begin noticing pressure, pause, align with your values, rehearse your responses, and strengthen your inner stability. This is how you remain unshakable. This is how you respond like a Stoic. And slowly but surely, you'll notice the world and the people in it treat you differently, not because you change for them, but because you refuse to be moved from your truth. Number 5, She evaluates your reaction to her indirect challenges or doubts. When she throws subtle doubts your way, asks questions that seem innocent but carry a hidden test, or nudges you with indirect challenges, she's watching closely, not just at what you say but at how you respond. And this is where so many men stumble, reacting with defensiveness, irritation, or even insecurity. But here's the thing. The moment you recognize this, you gain the upper hand. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus reminded us that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Every indirect challenge she presents is an opportunity, a mirror reflecting your inner stability, patience, and self-mastery. So what do you do when she tests you in these ways? First, pause. Literally take a breath. Don't rush to defend yourself or prove your worth. Your reaction is under your control, even if her words are not. Advised, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That means when she tosses a subtle doubt, you don't need to validate it, justify yourself, or get flustered. You simply respond with calm clarity or let it pass without unnecessary reaction. This is where Stoic power lives, quiet, unshakable, and intentional. Next, practice observation without judgment. When she tests you, notice your initial emotional spike. Maybe it's irritation, doubt, or even a surge of pride. Acknowledge it. Don't fight it or pretend it's not there. By recognizing these reactions, you separate the raw emotion from your conscious response. This is the foundation of Stoic mastery. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can control how long you let it control you. Try this as an exercise. Each time you sense a subtle challenge, pause and mentally label the emotion. Call it out. This is anger. This is pride. This is impatience. Numbing it weakens its hold and gives you space to respond deliberately. Then comes the practice of intentional response. Once you've paused and observed, ask yourself, what serves me best here? How do I maintain composure, confidence, and integrity? The answer is rarely a defensive outburst. It's often silence, a calm affirmation, or a controlled statement that reflects your values rather than the heat of the moment. Seneca wrote, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." The Stoic way is to chart your own internal course. You decide your responses before she even casts her tests. This is why detachment from external validation is so crucial. You can meet challenges without letting them shake your core. Practical action makes this real. Start small. Each day, set tiny tests for yourself. When someone questions your judgment or subtly challenges you, even in a neutral or unrelated context, practice pausing, observing, and responding intentionally. Journal your reactions. Reflect on what worked and what didn't. Over time, you'll notice a remarkable shift. That subtle evaluation she puts out will have no power over you. You'll be untouchable not because you're immune to external forces, but because you've trained your mind to remain anchored. Ultimately, this is more than surviving her tests. It's thriving in your own mind. Every indirect doubt she presents is a chance to strengthen your inner citadel, to practice calm in the face of uncertainty, and to embody the Stoic ideal, unwavering, composed, and fully in control of yourself. You don't just want to respond correctly. You want to transform your reactions into deliberate expressions of your best self. Because when you master this, the world and her evaluations lose their power over you. And that's where true freedom lies. Number 6, she watches how you respond to her boundaries or independence. When she sets boundaries or asserts her independence, take a moment to notice how you react. This is not just about her behavior, it's a mirror reflecting your own self-mastery. In the heat of the moment, you might feel a flicker of irritation, a spike of anxiety, or even the temptation to push, to persuade, to overcompensate. But the Stoics remind us, as Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your response to her autonomy is a test, not of her, but of your own discipline, your own capacity to remain steady, composed, and true to your values. You see, the measure of your character is not found in compliance or control. It's in your ability to maintain equanimity when faced with the freedom of another. Notice the subtle emotions that arise. Do you feel the urge to criticize, to control, to withdraw? These impulses are signals pointing to attachments or expectations that you might be unconsciously holding onto. Stoicism teaches that freedom lies in discerning what is within your control, and nothing outside of your mind falls entirely there. Her boundaries are hers. You cannot dictate her choices, her space, or her pace, but you can control your response. You can choose patience instead of irritation, curiosity instead of judgment, respect instead of resistance. Every time you encounter her independence, see it as an opportunity to practice inner sovereignty. This is not theoretical, it is daily training. Pause, breathe, reflect. What part of this is mine to manage? What part belongs solely to her? Now shift your perspective. Instead of seeing boundaries as barriers or tests of your worth, consider them invitations to deepen your self-awareness. A Stoic doesn't cling, doesn't manipulate, doesn't react from fear of loss or ego. A Stoic observes, evaluates, and acts with intention. Wrote, choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. If her independence triggers discomfort, it is a signal to examine what inside you feels unsettled. Is it fear of rejection? Is it the need for validation? Once you identify these internal pressures, you can address them directly without projecting onto her or the situation. This is where transformation begins, by mastering your own mind, your own impulses, your own judgments. Here's a practical exercise to put this into action. Each time she asserts a boundary, consciously step back. Don't react immediately. In that pause, breathe deeply and repeat silently. This is her choice, not my threat. Observe the sensations in your body, the stirrings in your mind, and resist the urge to act on automatic impulses. Then respond deliberately, aligned with reason and principle rather than emotion. Over time, this strengthens a calm, unshakable center, a place where you remain confident, composed, and respectful, no matter the external dynamics. Another exercise is reflection at the end of each day. Think back to moments when her independence came up. Ask yourself, did I meet it with understanding or with tension? Did I respond or react? Did I uphold my values or did I compromise them to chase a sense of control? Journaling these reflections creates a feedback loop of self-mastery. It's the Stoic equivalent of training your mind like a muscle, making resilience habitual, and turning challenges into opportunities for growth. Ultimately, her boundaries are not a threat. They are a canvas on which you can practice the art of self-command. When you stop seeing independence as a challenge and start seeing it as a mirror of your own discipline, you step into a space of quiet power. This is where true Stoic response lives, grounded, aware, and unwavering. So, embrace her autonomy, honor it, and let it guide you toward greater mastery of yourself. That is the mark of a man who cannot be shaken by circumstance, who thrives regardless of tests, and who transforms every interaction into a chance for virtue. Number 7. She tests whether you stay calm when situations don't go your way. One of the most revealing ways she tests you is by seeing if you can stay calm when things don't go your way. Life, after all, is full of unexpected twists, disruptions, and moments that challenge your plans, and she notices how you handle these situations. Do you throw a fit, get frustrated, or lash out? Or do you maintain your composure, breathe, and respond thoughtfully? Once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This is the essence of the test. It's not about the situation itself. It's about how you meet it. Your calmness under pressure signals resilience, self-mastery, and emotional intelligence. And those are qualities that naturally command respect and trust. Here's the truth. You can't control what life throws at you, but you can control how you react. When she's testing you, she's paying attention to the signals your behavior sends. Stoicism teaches that external events are neutral. It is your judgment and your response that give them weight. That means your first task is to pause, to notice the initial stirrings of irritation, disappointment, or panic, and refuse to let them dictate your next move. Train yourself to ask, is this within my control, or am I wasting energy on what I cannot change? That moment of conscious choice, where you step back instead of charging ahead impulsively, is where your power lies. Adopting this mindset doesn't happen overnight. It starts with small, deliberate practices. Begin by intentionally putting yourself in low-stakes situations that might irritate you, a delayed task, a small inconvenience, a minor disagreement, and practice remaining serene. Feel the tension rise and then consciously release it. Breathe deeply, recalibrate, and choose a calm, reasoned response. These exercises may seem trivial at first, but they are the mental gym where emotional strength is built. Seneca reminds us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. When you confront discomfort deliberately, you train your mind to endure the real challenges without crumbling. Another powerful exercise is reflection. Each night, review the day and notice moments when you allowed frustration to creep in. Don't judge yourself harshly. Stoicism isn't about beating yourself up. Instead, ask yourself, how could I have responded with greater calm? How can I turn this into a learning moment? Writing down these reflections creates a feedback loop, reinforcing awareness and improving your composure over time. Remember, staying calm doesn't mean suppressing emotion or being robotic. It means mastering it. It means acknowledging your feelings but not letting them control your actions. You are not the victim of circumstance. You are the captain of your inner world. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." She's watching not to trip you up, but to see if you're grounded enough to navigate life's uncertainties with grace. So when the test comes, and it will, take a deep breath. Anchor yourself in the present. Remind yourself that your power lies in response, not reaction. Observe your impulses without surrendering to them. Each time you meet adversity with calmness, you're signaling strength, reliability, and wisdom. This is how you embody Stoic principles in action, not just in theory. Your serenity becomes magnetic. It draws respect without needing to demand it. Over time, your composure in these moments becomes a habit, a defining characteristic of your character that no external force can easily shake. Ultimately, the challenge is simple but profound. Refuse to be swept away by the waves of circumstance. Own your mind, own your reactions, and let your calmness speak louder than any words. That's how a Stoic responds when she tests whether you stay composed under pressure. Remember, the moment you start reacting emotionally to tests, you hand over your power. But when you respond like a Stoic, calm, composed, and in control, you become untouchable, unshakable. These 7 signs aren't traps, they're opportunities to practice mastery over your emotions, to strengthen your inner fortress, and to see people as they truly are, not as triggers for your reactions. If you take even one of these Stoic strategies to heart, you'll notice a shift, a clarity in how you respond, a confidence that doesn't beg for approval, and a peace that no testing can disturb. The world will keep testing you, that's certain, but how you respond, that's entirely in your hands. So don't just watch and forget. Pause, reflect, and start applying these signs in your interactions today. And if you want to go deeper, I've got more insights waiting for you in the next video, where we'll explore exactly how to maintain composure when everyone else is losing theirs. Stay calm, stay observant, and most importantly, stay stoic. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Seneca. What if I told you that understanding a woman's past relationships isn't about judgment or curiosity, but about uncovering deeper truths that shape how she connects, commits, and communicates? In a world where appearances often deceive, knowing the subtle signs that reveal how many men have been in her life can unlock profound insights, not just about her, but about human nature, trust, and emotional resilience. Welcome to a journey through the lens of Stoicism, where clarity replaces assumptions and wisdom guides perception. This isn't about gossip or shamming. It's about empowering yourself with knowledge, seeing beyond the surface, and mastering the art of discernment in relationships. If you want to avoid mistakes, build stronger bonds, and truly understand the subtle language of experience in a partner's past, then this video is your roadmap. Stay with me till the very end, because every sign we uncover here will deepen your insight and help you navigate love with calm confidence and clear judgment. Ready to see what the signs reveal? Let's dive in. Number 1, confidence in her behavior. All right, let's dive deep into this in a way that's natural, motivating, and genuinely useful for you. When you think about confidence in her behavior, it's not just some random trait she either has or doesn't. It's a living, breathing signal, a subtle but powerful indicator of her experiences and how she carries herself through the world. You see, confidence isn't about arrogance or putting on a show. It's about a quiet, steady sense of knowing who she is, what she wants, and owning her space without apology. This is something Mike nod at when he says, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Similarly, she doesn't waste time second-guessing herself or hiding behind insecurities. She simply moves forward with the assurance that her past, whatever it might be, is a part of her story, not a shadow that drags her down. Now think about how this kind of confidence reveals itself. It's in the way she looks you in the eye without hesitation, the ease in her laughter, the way she speaks her mind even when the room is quiet. You'll notice it in her posture, how she carries herself like someone who isn't waiting for permission to exist fully. That's not a coincidence. It's a sign that she's lived, learned, and grown, which often correlates with having a wide range of experiences, including those intimate ones. Confidence in behavior isn't something you fake, it's something you build. And here's the truth you need to embrace. When you see this kind of confidence, it's a reflection of someone who understands her own value deeply. Don't confuse this with judgment or making assumptions. Instead, let it guide you to understand that she has passed through challenges, made choices, and emerged with clarity. As Seneca advises, "He who is brave is free." Freedom here means freedom from doubt, from the chains of past mistakes or regrets. She owns her history with neither shame nor boastfulness. And here, where you come in, you can learn a lot by observing this. Confidence isn't about tallying up experiences or comparing histories. It's about recognizing maturity, self-awareness, and the courage to be unapologetically authentic. So how do you develop that same kind of confidence in your own life? It starts with accepting your past, your own story, every success, every stumble without judgment. Practice the art of being present. When you engage with someone, don't let your mind wander into speculation or insecurity. Instead, focus on being fully there. Stoicism teaches you to control your own reactions, not others' behaviors. When you see confidence in her, let it inspire you rather than intimidate you. Build your own inner fortress. Exercise this by setting small daily challenges. Speak your truth in one conversation. Hold eye contact a little longer. Stand tall even when your heart wants to shrink. These actions strengthen your inner self. Remember, confidence is magnetic, but it must be genuine. It's not about pretending or hiding. It's about cultivating an unshakable belief in your worth and walking through life with grace. When you do that, you no longer worry about the number of people someone has been with. You see them as a whole person, shaped by their journey just like you. In closing, I want you to take this to heart. Confidence in behavior is one of the clearest signs of a woman who has lived fully and authentically, and it's a reminder for you to do the same. Let her example be a mirror, reflecting back to you the power you hold when you choose to own your path and move forward with quiet strength. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." You've got this. Step into your confidence today. Number 2, openness about past relationships. When it comes to understanding a woman's past relationships, one of the most telling signs is her openness about those experiences. Notice how freely she talks about her past, whether it's the number of relationships she's been through or the lessons she's learned along the way. This openness is more than just words. It's a reflection of her comfort with herself and her past. You see, a woman who can honestly share her history without hesitation or shame is demonstrating a kind of strength that's rooted in self-awareness and acceptance. It's the mark of someone who isn't burdened by regret or caught in the trap of defensiveness. She's willing to let her story be heard, without fear of judgment, and that says a lot about her character. You might wonder why this matters so much. The truth is, being open about the past sets the tone for trust and transparency in any relationship. It's a clear sign she respects you enough to share the realities of her journey. From a Stoic perspective, this openness aligns with the idea that we should embrace the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. Reminds us to accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny. When a woman openly discusses her past, she is practicing her own form of acceptance, acknowledging her history without trying to hide or rewrite it. And this kind of honesty is invaluable because it creates space for genuine connection. If you want to build a strong foundation with her, pay attention to how she handles conversations about past relationships. Does she shy away, change the subject, or get defensive? Or does she engage openly, answer your questions thoughtfully, and share insights that show growth? The difference here is significant. Openness signals maturity and emotional intelligence, which are qualities you want to cultivate in your partner. It also reflects her readiness to move forward with integrity rather than carrying emotional baggage into new chapters. And remember, Stoicism teaches you to look beyond surface impressions and focus on the inner virtues of a person, like honesty, courage, and self-control. These virtues come alive in how she talks about her past. Now here's something you can practice to strengthen this dynamic in your interactions. Start by modeling openness yourself. Share a bit about your past, not every detail, but enough to show you're comfortable with your own story. This sets an example and lowers any walls she might have. Then, when she talks about her experiences, listen without judgment. Resist the urge to jump to conclusions or make assumptions. Instead, be curious and empathetic. This will encourage her to continue being open and build a deeper sense of trust between you. It's a simple yet powerful way to foster authentic connection. Keep in mind that openness about past relationships isn't about counting numbers or comparing histories. It's about how she embraces her story and what she's learned from it. This mindset reflects what Seneca said about life's challenges. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. When she can talk about her past honestly, it shows she's grown stronger and wiser from her experiences. And isn't that the kind of person you want to be with? Someone who faces life head-on, learns from it, and isn't afraid to share that journey with you. So next time you find yourself curious about her past, approach it with calmness and respect. Let her openness be a guide for you to build your own strength and understanding. Because, in the end, the stories we carry shape who we are. But it's how openly and honestly we share those stories that truly defines us. Be patient, be present, and allow that openness to deepen your connection. This is how you move beyond surface judgments and find something real and lasting. Number 3, level of emotional detachment. When you start paying attention to the level of emotional detachment, you're tuning into a subtle but powerful signal. Emotional detachment isn't about judging or assigning value to someone's past. It's about understanding where someone stands in the present moment. You need to recognize that a person's ability to detach emotionally can reveal how they process intimacy and connection. And this is crucial because, as Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your goal isn't to judge, but to observe with clarity and learn from what you see. You see, when someone approaches intimacy with emotional detachment, it often means they've built a wall, consciously or unconsciously, to protect themselves from vulnerability. This can stem from past experiences, but it also shapes how they engage with others now. If you notice a consistent pattern where deep connection feels scarce, where conversations avoid depth, or where there's a hesitation to share feelings, you're witnessing emotional detachment at work. And this isn't about a lack of capacity for love or care. It's a defense mechanism, a way of keeping distance so that the risk of hurt feels manageable. You might be tempted to interpret this as disinterest or coldness, but here's the thing. It's also a sign of self-preservation. And as a man who values wisdom and growth, you can use this awareness to adjust how you engage. Stoicism teaches us to accept what we cannot control, but to act wisely in what we can. You cannot force someone to open up emotionally, but you can control how you respond. This is your chance to cultivate patience and discernment. Ask yourself, is this emotional detachment something you're willing to work with? Is it aligned with the kind of relationship and connection you truly want? Don't fall into the trap of trying to fix or change someone else to fit your desires. Instead, focus on strengthening your own emotional resilience and clarity. Advise that we should be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Your journey is about developing a strong sense of self, so you're never shaken by others, walls, or guardedness. Practice mindfulness in your interactions. When you feel frustration or confusion about emotional detachment, pause. Reflect on what you can learn about yourself in these moments. Are you projecting expectations that might not be realistic? Are you holding on to hopes that cloud your judgment? Embrace the power of detachment in your own life. Not to shut people out, but to understand that your peace does not depend on others' openness. This mindset will empower you to see emotional detachment not as a flaw to fix, but as information to guide your choices. Are you engaging with someone who's emotionally available enough to build what you want? Or are you investing energy where it might not be reciprocated in the way you need? The answer lies in how you observe and act. To take this further, start small exercises in emotional awareness. Before and after conversations, check in with yourself. How do you feel? What signals did you notice? This practice sharpens your intuition and helps you differentiate between genuine connection and guarded detachment. Over time, you'll build a clearer picture, not just about others, but about your own emotional needs and boundaries. Remember, true strength lies not in controlling others, but in mastering your own mind and responses. As Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Be brave in recognizing emotional detachment where it appears, and free yourself from confusion or frustration by acting with wisdom and calm. You're not here to fix the world or anyone else, but to live your best life with clarity and purpose. That starts with seeing things clearly, without illusion, without wishful thinking. So watch for emotional detachment as a signal, not a verdict. Let it teach you about the realities of connection and about the power you hold over your own emotional well-being. Your growth depends on it. Number 4, comfort with physical intimacy. When you start noticing how comfortable someone is with physical intimacy, you're tuning into a signal that reveals more than just surface-level behavior. It's about presence, ease, and how naturally they navigate the closeness between two people. The way someone carries themselves when it comes to physical touch, whether it's a simple brush of the hand, a hug, or something deeper, tells a story. It's almost as if their body speaks its own language, one that can reveal past experiences and the depth of their comfort zone. Now, this doesn't mean you're judging or putting a number on anyone's history. Rather, you're observing patterns of behavior that offer insight into how they relate to intimacy itself. You see, the Stoics teach us that self-awareness is key, reminded himself to be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. What does this mean here? It means that you, as an observer or even a partner, should cultivate a steady mindset, one that doesn't jump to conclusions, but instead calmly understands what's in front of you. When you watch someone who moves through physical connection without hesitation or discomfort, it's not just confidence. It's a sign they've been through enough moments of closeness to own it fully. This isn't about judgment, but about recognizing a certain fluency with the language of the body. Imagine how many times in life you've fumbled or felt unsure about physical closeness, maybe a nervous hand extended or a hesitation to lean in. Now, picture the other person who moves without that hesitation, as if physical intimacy is a natural extension of their being. This ease often comes from a place of experience, not just in quantity, but in quality. They have explored and understood their own boundaries and those of others. They're not tangled up in fear or uncertainty. Instead, they flow through those moments with an almost effortless grace. Here's the practical takeaway for you. Observing comfort with physical intimacy invites you to reflect on your own relationship with closeness. Are you comfortable? Do you approach it with a sense of calm, or do you tense up and question every touch? The Stoics urge you to take control of your perceptions. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So, start with yourself. Practice being present with physical connection, whether it's a handshake, a hug, or a moment of quiet closeness. Notice how you react. When you feel tension, breathe through it. Allow yourself to be present, not trapped in your thoughts or judgments. Building this comfort isn't a race, it's a journey. Begin by small exercises, maybe a moment of eye contact with a friend paired with a sincere smile and a brief touch on the arm. Notice the sensations, the feelings. Then extend that into deeper connections with people you trust. Over time, your nervous system will adjust, and what once felt awkward will feel natural. This practice teaches you resilience and openness, qualities the Stoics held dear. Remember, true strength isn't about suppressing emotion or shying away from connection. It's about mastering your response to it. Being comfortable with physical intimacy is a sign of emotional maturity. It means you can be vulnerable and strong at the same time, holding space for closeness without losing your grounding. So, as you watch and learn from others' ease in physical connection, don't just take mental notes. Turn that observation inward. Use it as a mirror for your own growth. Challenge yourself to embrace physical intimacy with the calm confidence of a Stoic, steady, present, and unshaken. Because when you do, you don't just attract others. You embody the kind of magnetic presence that draws people naturally toward you. Number 5, boundaries she sets. You need to pay close attention to the boundaries she sets, not just because they might hint at her past, but because boundaries tell you how she values herself and expects to be treated. It's easy to overlook this, but the way a woman establishes limits reveals a lot about her inner world and how she navigates intimacy. Think of boundaries as the invisible lines that protect her dignity and her peace of mind. If she's clear about what she will and won't accept, it means she's done the work to understand her worth and isn't afraid to communicate that. Once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Her boundaries are a reflection of this strength, a way to keep her inner fortress intact. When she sets firm boundaries, it shows she's selective about who she lets into her space, her time, and her life. This selectiveness doesn't necessarily speak about the quantity of her past relationships, but rather the quality of what she allows now. If she's comfortable communicating her needs and saying no without hesitation, that's a sign she respects herself deeply. And respect for oneself is magnetic. You want to be around someone who honors themselves, because that creates a foundation for genuine connection and mutual respect. Now, boundaries also reveal how much she values emotional safety. When she insists on packing things according to her comfort, when she expects honesty and loyalty, she's protecting herself from unnecessary pain. This is crucial for you to understand because it means she's not playing games. She's serious about building something real. It's easy to get caught up in assumptions, but instead, watch how she enforces her limits. Does she shy away from intimacy too quickly? Or does she open up when trust is earned? These nuances give you insight into how she navigates vulnerability, which is often linked to her experiences and lessons learned. You might be thinking, how does this connect to knowing about her past? The Stoics teach us that we shouldn't judge others by their past, but understand them through the lens of their present character. Boundaries tell you about her character and where she stands today. So instead of fixating on numbers, focus on the energy she brings to the relationship right now. How she guards her heart and how she expects to be treated will shape everything you build together. Here's a practical exercise for you. When you're with her, observe without judgment how she handles situations where her boundaries are challenged. Does she calmly assert herself, or does she falter? This moment of observation reveals not just her past but her personal growth and emotional resilience. You can also reflect on your own boundaries. Are you clear about what you want? Are you able to communicate your limits without guilt? The Stoics remind us through Epictetus that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So, by mastering your boundaries, you create space for healthier connections. If you want to attract someone who truly values themselves and respects you in return, start by valuing yourself first. Set your own boundaries with confidence, and watch how that clarity draws people who honor those same principles. Remember, it's not about controlling others or obsessing over their history, but about cultivating a present built on respect, honesty, and mutual understanding. You have the power to shift your focus from the past to what truly matters, the person she is and the relationship you're creating together. Boundaries are your guideposts on this journey. They tell you when to lean in and when to step back, when to invest your energy, and when to protect your heart. So pay attention to them, respect them, and let them teach you how to build connections that last. Number 6. Communication style about dating. When it comes to understanding someone's history through how they communicate about dating, it's easy to fall into traps of judgment or assumption. But here's the thing. Communication isn't just about what's said. It's about how it's said, the underlying tone, the subtle cues, and even what's left unsaid. You have to train yourself to listen deeply and observe without rushing to conclusions. Think of it like the Stoic practice of pausing before reacting. Reminds us, if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth. Approach conversations about dating not as an interrogation, but as an opportunity to understand, to gather pieces of a person's story through their words, their rhythm, and their openness. Notice how some people might talk about their past with ease, fluidly weaving in details about dates, relationships, or even flings without hesitation or embarrassment. This isn't just chatter. It reflects a comfort with their own journey, a kind of acceptance that aligns with the Stoic ideal of embracing reality without resistance. You can use this as a mirror for your own communication. How freely do you discuss your experiences? Are you transparent with yourself and others, or do you shy away, burying parts of your story? The goal here isn't to tally up numbers or judge, but to cultivate a mindset where openness becomes strength. Practice this by reflecting daily. How honest am I being with myself about my past? How can I communicate with integrity, even when it feels vulnerable? On the flip side, some people might communicate about dating with a guarded or evasive style, skipping details or changing subjects quickly. This can be a red flag, but not necessarily for the reasons you might think. Sometimes, this behavior comes from past wounds or shame, not deceit. Your challenge is to listen with empathy and recognize that communication is layered. Epictetus teaches us to focus on what's within our control, our own judgments and reactions. So when someone's style is closed off or indirect, ask yourself, what am I controlling here? Can I respond with patience instead of frustration? Try this exercise. The next time you sense hesitance, don't push. Instead, acknowledge their discomfort and create a safe space for honesty. This approach doesn't just reveal more, it builds trust. Another powerful insight is the consistency in how someone speaks about their dating life over time. Do their stories line up? Are the emotions they express authentic and stable? This is where your Stoic discipline shines. You learn to notice discrepancies not as reasons to criticize, but as signals to dig deeper within yourself. Your goal is clarity, not gossip. Reflect on this. How consistent am I in sharing my own narrative? Do I stay grounded, or do I embellish or minimize depending on the audience? Self-awareness here can transform how you relate to others. Commit to a daily check-in. Review your conversations and ask, did I speak with honesty and steadiness, or did I waver? Remember, communication about dating isn't a scoreboard of how many partners someone has had or a list to be judged. It's a window into their emotional maturity, their relationship with vulnerability, and how they own their past. You want to cultivate a mindset where you listen to these signals with wisdom and kindness. As Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Don't let assumptions and fears cloud your judgment. Instead, turn inward and ask, how can I approach this with a calm mind and an open heart? To bring this into your life practically, try journaling after interactions where dating topics arise. Write not just what was said, but how it felt. Were there moments of hesitation, joy, pride, or discomfort? Over time, you'll build a map of communication patterns, both in others and yourself. This exercise cultivates that Stoic clarity and emotional intelligence, helping you move beyond surface impressions to real understanding. So take this as a call to action. Listen deeply, speak honestly, and practice patience. These habits won't just reveal more about who you're engaging with. They'll reveal a lot about your own capacity for connection. The way someone talks about their dating life is less about numbers and more about the story they're ready to tell, and your readiness to listen wisely. Number 7. Reactions to questions about past partners. When you bring up questions about past partners, pay close attention, not just to what she says, but how she reacts. The way someone responds to questions about their history reveals more than the facts themselves ever could. It's about the subtle cues, the energy behind the words, and how open or guarded she becomes. You see, in Stoicism, teaches us that what truly matters isn't external events, but how we respond to them. So when you ask about past relationships, observe her reaction as a reflection of her inner state. Does she answer calmly, with a sense of ease and honesty? Or does she become defensive, evasive, or overly vague? These reactions tell you about her mindset, whether she owns her story without shame or whether she's carrying hidden burdens or regrets. Now, this isn't about judging or sizing someone up like a detective. It's about understanding emotional maturity and authenticity. Someone who reacts to such questions with openness is likely comfortable with who they are. They've come to terms with their past and are willing to share because they don't fear judgment. This reveals a strength of character that aligns with Stoic virtues: acceptance, wisdom, and courage. You want to be with someone who embraces their past without letting it define their present or future. If she can answer without hesitation or resentment, it signals a grounded person who lives in the present moment and isn't weighed down by the chains of previous mistakes or regrets. On the flip side, a sharp change in mood, avoidance, or defensiveness can be a sign that past experiences still trigger unresolved emotions. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. Everyone carries scars, but it's a red flag for you to proceed with empathy and caution. Stoicism teaches us that judgment should come from wisdom, not impulse or assumption. When you notice such reactions, consider what this means for your relationship. Are you ready to be patient and supportive? Or is it a sign to be mindful of boundaries and personal growth? Asking yourself these questions is crucial. Don't rush to conclusions, but don't ignore your intuition either. The wise man understands that the external actions of others are outside his control, but how he interprets and reacts to them is entirely within his power. Here's a practical exercise to try. The next time the topic of past partners comes up, observe not only her words but her tone, body language, and eye contact. Practice active listening without interrupting or pressing too hard. Reflect silently on what her responses reveal about her self-awareness and emotional resilience. Then, ask yourself, how does this align with the qualities I seek? What does it teach me about patience, understanding, or boundaries? Doing this consistently sharpens your ability to read between the lines and build deeper connections grounded in reality rather than assumptions. Remember Epictetus's wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The truth about her past isn't what defines her. It's how she owns it, talks about it, and moves forward that shapes the person in front of you. So focus less on the number of past partners and more on the quality of her reactions. That's where the real insight lies. By tuning into these reactions, you're training yourself not just to understand others better, but to develop emotional intelligence and resilience in your own life. You're learning to navigate relationships with clarity and grace, qualities that Stoicism prizes highly. So take these moments as opportunities for growth, both for you and for the connection you're building. Approach with curiosity, respect, and patience, and you'll find that what you uncover is far more valuable than any number could ever be. Thanks for watching. Now that you know these 7 signs, you have a clearer lens to see beyond the surface. But remember, true wisdom comes from understanding, not judgment. Apply this Stoic insight with calm and clarity, and you'll navigate relationships with confidence and respect. If this video gave you a fresh perspective, hit that like button, share it with friends who need to hear this, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful Stoic wisdom. Drop your thoughts or questions in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you think. Stay grounded, stay wise, and keep mastering the art of knowing. Until next time. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. What if I told you that the signs of someone's secret obsession with you aren't loud or obvious? They're silent, subtle, and easily overlooked. You might be walking right past her hidden signals every day without even realizing it. In fact, understanding these quiet cues could change the way you see your relationships forever. Welcome to a deep dive into female psychology, where we reveal the 7 silent signs she's secretly obsessed with you. These aren't the typical behaviors everyone talks about. These are the nuanced, almost invisible hints that reveal a woman's true feelings beneath the surface. If you want to decode these signals, gain an edge in understanding her mind, and unlock the secret language of attraction, then stay tuned. Watch the video all the way to the end because that's where the most powerful insights lie, the kind that can transform your connection and maybe even your entire love life. Trust me, missing out on these signs means missing out on something huge. Let's uncover the mystery together. Number 1, she frequently makes prolonged eye contact. All right, listen up here. Something you need to start noticing right away. When a woman is secretly obsessed with you, her eyes often do the talking long before her words do. She'll frequently lock her gaze on you, holding it longer than casual glances or polite looks. And this isn't just about a quick glance here and there. It's a steady, prolonged eye contact that says more than any text or conversation ever could. This kind of gaze is magnetic and intense, almost like a silent confession, a window into what she's really feeling beneath the surface. Now, why does this matter? Because the eyes are the gateway to the soul, as the Stoics might agree if they talked about human connection this way. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." In this case, you might be overthinking her silence or wondering if she's interested, but her eyes are quietly revealing the truth you need to catch. So, your job is to tune in, to sharpen your awareness and catch these subtle but powerful signals. Here's the thing. If you want to step into the kind of man who truly understands female psychology, start by practicing presence. When you're with her, look back. Hold eye contact, don't shy away. This isn't about starring contests or trying to intimidate. It's about creating a space where connection can happen. Notice how she responds when you maintain your gaze. Does she smile softly, look away shyly, or hold your eyes even more? Those are clues you want to catch and act on. Try this as a simple exercise. Next time you're talking to someone you're interested in, practice holding eye contact for just a few seconds longer than usual. See how it changes the vibe. Does the conversation deepen? Does the energy shift? This builds your confidence and helps you read the room better. It trains you to be present, calm, and composed, the very qualities that make you irresistible. Remember who said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." If you feel awkward holding someone's gaze, lean into that discomfort. That hesitation is exactly where growth happens. You want to be the man who can calmly meet a woman's eyes and hold that moment because it shows strength, emotional control, and genuine interest. All Stoic virtues that translate perfectly to attraction. Another practical tip: when you notice she's making prolonged eye contact, don't rush to break it or change the subject. Instead, breathe deeply, stay relaxed, and let the moment stretch. Your steady gaze can act like a magnet, pulling her closer emotionally, even if she's quiet about it. Women appreciate a man who can hold space without rushing to fill silence or over-explain himself. It signals emotional maturity and stability. Also, don't confuse prolonged eye contact with pressure or invasion of privacy. True prolonged eye contact here is subtle, inviting, and warm. It's like she's silently telling you, "I'm here, I'm interested, I want to connect." When you start to recognize this, your intuition sharpens. You become more attuned to not just what's being said, but what's being felt. This changes how you approach her, how you respond, and ultimately, how you build attraction. So what if you start really seeing these signs? What if you step up and respond with calm confidence, matching her gaze with your own steady presence? You become a rare man, a man who doesn't need to chase or beg for attention but naturally draws it in. This is not about manipulation. It's about honest connection built on understanding and self-mastery. And that's powerful. Start practicing today. Hold your gaze a little longer. Notice when she does the same. Pay attention to how it makes you feel: nervous, excited, confident. Use that feeling as fuel. You're not just learning to read signs, you're training yourself to become the man who commands silent obsession without even trying. As Epictetus put it, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. So here's your call to action. Be present, be aware, and don't blink when she's looking your way. Number 2, she mirrors your body language subtly. You know, one of the quietest, most telling signs that she's genuinely into you is the way she mirrors your body language. It's a subtle thing, often so soft you might miss it if you're not paying close attention, but it speaks volumes about what's really going on beneath the surface. When someone mirrors you, they're not just copying your gestures randomly. They're unconsciously syncing up with your energy, your vibe, and that's a powerful form of connection. It's like your bodies are having a conversation that words can't reach. Think about it this way. When she subtly leans in when you do, crosses her arms when you cross yours, or matches your pace while walking, she's sending a signal without even realizing it. A silent "I'm with you" that runs deeper than simple attraction. Now here, where it gets interesting for you. If you want to tap into this natural flow, start by becoming more aware of your own body language. The Stoics remind us through that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Your physical presence, your posture, your gestures, they all dye the atmosphere around you. When you carry yourself with calm confidence and purpose, you're setting a tone that she'll want to follow, maybe even mirror. So practice this. Next time you're talking to someone you're interested in, soften your gaze, keep your movements deliberate but relaxed, and notice how she reacts. Does she start to echo your stance, your hand movements? If yes, that's a strong green light. Don't underestimate how much mirroring is a form of bonding. It's a primal, almost subconscious way people say, "I feel safe and connected with you." So when you see this, it's more than just cute behavior. It's her brain telling her body that you're someone worth syncing with. You want to cultivate this kind of magnetic pull. How? By first mastering your own presence. Stand tall, breathe steady, and be fully there. If your energy is scattered or unsure, the mirroring won't happen naturally because she won't find a steady rhythm to lock into. Here's a practical exercise you can try. In a casual conversation, whether it's with a friend or someone new, pay close attention to their movements and subtly mirror one or two of their gestures. Nothing exaggerated, just a natural mimic. See how the dynamic changes. Usually it creates a sense of ease and rapport instantly. This isn't manipulation, it's about harmony and connection. When you do this skillfully, you're inviting her to sync with you on a deeper level, without saying a single word. Remember Epictetus's wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This applies perfectly here. Your body language is your response to the world and the people in it. When you control that, you influence the interaction on an unspoken level. Mirroring is a dance. You lead by setting your own rhythm first. If you want her to feel drawn, to feel that silent obsession stirring, you have to give her something steady and magnetic to mirror. So don't just wait for signs, create the conditions for them. Work on your posture, your confidence, your calmness. Let your body tell the story you want her to follow. Because when she starts reflecting you, it means she's tuning in, syncing up, and quietly telling you she's obsessed with the energy you bring. And that, my friend, is a powerful place to be. Number 3, she remembers small details about you. When a woman is secretly obsessed with you, one of the most subtle but powerful signs is how she remembers the tiniest details about your life. Things you might think you said in passing, or moments you barely noticed yourself. This isn't just about having a good memory. It's about the way she's mentally engraving these fragments of your world like precious keepsakes. Think about it. How often do you find yourself zoning out during conversations, only to catch a random word or phrase that sparks your interest? Now imagine someone actually catching every little thing you say, holding on to it, and then bringing it back up later as if it mattered. Because, to her, it does. This kind of focused attention is a silent message. It's her way of showing that you're more than just a passing thought. You're someone who occupies space in her mind, constantly. You might brush it off at first. Maybe she asks about that one movie you mentioned liking months ago, or remembers your favorite coffee order. But here's the real kicker. When someone remembers the small stuff, it's a sign that she's paying attention to you as a whole person, not just the surface level you that most people interact with. Said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If her thoughts are consistently revolving around the details of your life, that color is getting richer, deeper, and more vibrant. It means she's genuinely invested on a subconscious level. Now here, where it gets exciting for you. If you want to cultivate deeper connections, learn this skill too. Start noticing the details others share with you. It's easy to get caught up in our own worlds or to skim conversations, but challenge yourself to listen actively. Make it a habit. When someone says something small, maybe about their favorite book or a random dream, make a mental note. Later, bring it up. This simple practice will make you stand out, just like she stands out to you when she remembers those details. Think of it as training your mind to be present, fully engaged and aware. Seneca reminded us, true happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future. Being fully present when people share their lives with you is one of the forms of respect and connection. It shows you care in a way that goes beyond words. So here's a little exercise for you. Next time you have a conversation, try this. After it's over, jot down or mentally recall 3 little things the other person mentioned that weren't the main topic. It could be anything: a favorite snack, a quirky habit, a fleeting worry. Then when you see or talk to them again, reference those points. Watch how that shifts the vibe. You'll come across as genuinely interested, someone who values more than just surface chatter. When a woman is obsessed with you quietly, she's doing this naturally. She's mentally archiving these details because they give her a sense of closeness and control in a world that often feels chaotic. For you, recognizing and mirroring this behavior isn't just about winning her over. It's about mastering the art of meaningful connection. It's about building bonds that don't just survive but thrive. Remember, obsession in this silent form isn't loud or flashy. It's the quiet, almost invisible thread weaving two people's lives together through the details others overlook. You hold the power to be that person who notices and remembers, who builds connections grounded in genuine attention and care. It's a skill you can cultivate. It's a habit you can own. So start today. Listen deeper. Remember more. Make others feel like the most important person in the room by simply valuing their small stories. Because in those details lies the key to unlocking desire, trust, and something far more powerful than infatuation, true connection. Number 4, she finds excuses to be physically close. You ever notice how when someone's really into you, they just seem to find ways to be closer physically? It's like gravity. No matter where you are, they gravitate toward your space almost without thinking. If you're wondering whether she's secretly obsessed with you, this is a big, subtle sign to watch for. She'll create little moments, almost like tiny openings, to get near you. It's not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's just a brush of her hand, a light touch on your arm, or sitting just a bit too close. These small moves aren't random. They're her way of saying, "I want to be near you, even if I'm not shouting it out loud." It's an unspoken language of connection. Now here's something the Stoics teach us that fits perfectly with this. Said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When she's navigating her feelings, she'll find ways around social norms, discomfort, or hesitation to be close to you. That's not by accident, it's purposeful. She's drawn to you like a magnet, and the closer she can get, the more she's feeding that magnetic pull inside herself. You might not realize it, but those moments of closeness are her quiet way of creating intimacy, even if she's not ready to say it outright. You have to train yourself to notice this kind of energy because it's easy to miss. It's not about grand gestures or loud declarations. It's the subtle art of presence. And here's a simple exercise for you. Next time you're around someone you care about, Pay attention to how often they close the physical distance. Do they lean in when they talk? Do they find reasons to touch your arm or shoulder? Do they seem to position themselves in your personal space more often than what feels normal? Becoming aware of these little moves will sharpen your understanding of connection on a whole new level. But it's not just about watching. It's about cultivating your own calm confidence, your own presence that invites closeness naturally. Imagine yourself embodying that stoic calm, unshakable and serene. When you carry yourself like that, you create an invisible invitation. Women pick up on that vibe. They feel safe, intrigued, and yes, obsessed with being near you because your energy pulls them in. You don't have to chase or push. You simply become the kind of person who naturally draws people close. Here's another powerful practice. Work on your own body language. Stand tall, relax your shoulders, soften your gaze, but keep it steady. This subtle shift changes everything. As Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your reaction, your stance, your calmness, your openness can transform how others want to be around you. Try this next time you're in a conversation. Instead of crossing your arms or stepping back, lean in slightly, lower your voice just a touch, and let your body speak the language of invitation. Remember, closeness isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, and energetic too. When she's obsessed, she's not just hanging around for the heck of it. She's searching for connection, reassurance, and a way to feel close to the real you. So, the more you become comfortable in your own space, the more she'll feel drawn to share hers with you. Start practicing this today. Watch, listen, feel the shifts in how people move around you. It's like tuning into a secret frequency. The more you notice, the more you understand, and the more you can respond with the calm strength that the Stoics prized. Close the distance not just with your body, but with your energy. Because when you do that, you're not just noticed, you're unforgettable. Number 5, she laughs at your jokes more than usual. If you notice that she laughs at your jokes more than usual, like way more than what seems natural, don't just brush it off as politeness or random friendliness. This is one of those subtle, quiet signals that often fly under the radar but can tell you a lot about what's going on beneath the surface. When a woman is secretly obsessed with you, she's not just enjoying your humor, she's responding to your energy, your vibe, and the connection she feels with you in a deeply instinctive way. Laughter is more than just a reaction to a punchline. It's a bridge, a way to communicate without saying too much. It's her way of showing she's tuned in, engaged, and emotionally invested. Think about what's said. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When she's around you, laughing more than she does with others, it's because her mind and heart are coloring themselves with your presence. She's letting you know she feels safe, entertained, and yes, a bit captivated. But here's the catch. Her laughter isn't just about making you feel good. It's a quiet invitation, a signal that she wants you to notice her interest, to recognize the connection growing in those shared moments of lightness. Now here, where you come in. Don't just let those moments slip by. When you see her laugh more than usual, lean into it. Mirror that energy. Be the kind of man who cultivates joy and confidence, because laughter thrives on authenticity. Don't force humor or play the clown, but embrace your genuine self and allow your natural confidence to shine through. As Seneca reminded us, no man was ever wise by chance. Becoming the kind of person who effortlessly inspires laughter and genuine connection takes practice, self-awareness, and a calm mastery of your own inner world. Try this. Next time you catch her laughing, pause for a moment and meet her eyes. Let your smile reflect your appreciation for her being present. This silent exchange builds a magnetic pull, something more profound than words. It's about presence, the very thing Stoicism teaches us to cultivate daily. Practice being present with her laughter, with her energy, and watch how the dynamic subtly shifts. Here's a practical exercise to adopt right now. Cultivate your inner calm so your humor comes from a place of strength, not insecurity. Take 5 minutes daily to sit quietly, focusing on your breath, reminding yourself that the things we love tell us what we are, as Thomas put it. When you're grounded like this, your laughter won't feel needy or desperate. It will feel like a natural extension of your authentic self, something magnetic, irresistible. Remember, the laughter you provoke isn't just about the joke itself. It's about the connection, the chemistry you're nurturing without even realizing it. So next time she laughs more than she usually does, don't just smile and move on. Let it be a signal to step up your game emotionally. Show up fully, listen more deeply, and respond with the kind of quiet strength that makes her want to stay close. You've got this power in your hands. Use her laughter as your cue, a silent yet powerful sign to be more present, more confident, and more intentional in every interaction. Because when you do, you'll start to see just how much that laughter really means. It's a window into her secret obsession and a door opening for you to step through into something deeper, more meaningful, and profoundly magnetic. Number 6, she reacts quickly to your messages or calls. When she reacts quickly to your messages or calls, it's not just about being polite or convenient. It's a subtle, silent signal that you're on her mind, that you matter to her in a way that goes beyond casual acquaintance. Think about it. In a world where everyone's glued to their phones, bombarded with endless notifications and distractions, someone who drops everything just to respond to you is making a choice. She's prioritizing you without making a fuss about it. This isn't accidental or casual, it's intentional. And if you pay attention, you'll realize it speaks volumes about how much space you hold in her thoughts and feelings. Now here's the thing, you might be tempted to overlook this, to take quick replies for granted, or chalk it up to just being polite. But that's where you can start shifting your perspective. When you notice her eagerness to connect, lean into that awareness. Let it remind you that human connection, real connection, thrives in those small but meaningful moments of responsiveness. You want to tune into these quiet signals because they're often more telling than grand gestures or loud declarations. The Stoics remind us that control over ourselves is the gateway to freedom. Said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." So instead of getting lost in guessing games about what she might feel, focus on what's in front of you, her promptness in reaching out. This is your cue to be present and intentional in your responses too. Don't let those moments slip by. When she messages, take a breath, center yourself, and reply thoughtfully. Match her energy. When you do this, you're not just responding, you're nurturing a deeper connection. Try this practical exercise. The next time she reaches out quickly, pause for a moment before answering. Use that pause to reflect on your own feelings. Are you engaging because you want to or out of habit? Then respond with clarity and care, showing that you value the exchange. This simple shift turns a quick reply into a meaningful interaction. Over time, it builds a rhythm of mutual respect and interest that she'll sense, fueling her quiet obsession. Remember, attraction isn't about rushing or chasing. It's about balance, showing you're available but not desperate, present but not needy. When she reacts fast, it's her way of opening the door. Your job is to walk through it with calm confidence. The Stoics teach us to meet life's moments with steadiness, to be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. You can apply this by being reliable in your communication while maintaining your own independence. Don't let the eagerness pull you off your path. Instead, let it inspire you to raise your own standards of connection. This awareness can change how you view your interactions. No longer are you passively waiting for signs or playing guessing games. Instead, you're fully engaged, seeing responsiveness as a mirror reflecting her hidden interest. And here's a secret. When you respond with intention, you spark a cycle of genuine desire and respect that grows quietly but powerfully. So next time she reacts quickly to your call or message, don't just scroll past or rush your reply. Stop. Recognize it as a meaningful moment. Honor it. And use it to deepen your presence, your confidence, and your understanding of what real attraction looks like: silent, steady, and unmistakable. This small shift in your mindset and habits could be the key that unlocks a whole new level of connection between you. Because, after all, desire isn't always loud. Sometimes it's in the quiet eagerness to be heard, to be seen, and to be valued. Number 7. She shows slight jealousy when you talk to others. All right, let's talk about something you might have noticed but brushed off: that tiny spark of jealousy she shows when you talk to other women. Now, this isn't the loud, dramatic kind of jealousy you see in movies. No, it's far more subtle, almost invisible unless you're really paying attention. But here's the thing: this slight jealousy, it's one of the most telling signs she's secretly obsessed with you. And recognizing it, that's your key to understanding her deeper feelings without her saying a word. Think about it. When a woman starts showing a flicker of discomfort, that quick glance when you laugh at another girl's joke, or the slight pause when you mention someone else, it's her emotions quietly breaking through the surface. This is where female psychology reveals something powerful. Obsession isn't about control or desperation. It's about intense emotional investment. She's mentally reserving a space for you, and seeing you interact with others even casually can feel like a tiny threat to that space. It's subtle, but it's real. Here, where your mindset makes all the difference. Instead of reacting with frustration or confusion, embrace this moment like a Stoic would. Once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. So don't let jealousy trigger insecurity or drama. Instead, understand it as a sign of connection, a proof she values you more than she lets on. This is your moment to stay calm, be steady, and lead with confidence. But don't stop at understanding, act on it. When you notice that slight jealousy, don't dismiss it. Instead, acknowledge it in your mind as a hint of her feelings. And then take it a step further. Show her without words that your attention is sincere. Be present when you're with her. This isn't about grand declarations or over-the-top displays. It's about small, consistent actions that say, "I see you and you matter." Maybe it's maintaining eye contact just a little longer. Maybe it's a light touch on her arm when you laugh together. These are the quiet ways you reassure her that your connection is unique. Here's a little exercise for you. Next time you catch that subtle sign of jealousy, pause for a moment. Breathe in deeply, steady yourself. Remind yourself of the Stoic ideal. Your strength lies in your response, not in controlling others. Then, instead of brushing past it, mentally note, "She cares." Let that thought shape your behavior. Your calmness and clarity will deepen her admiration, because nothing is more magnetic than a man who doesn't get rattled by emotions around him. A man who commands respect through his composure. Now, what if you flip this script? What if you too embrace this quiet obsession, that magnetic pull between two people who don't always say it outright? You don't have to speak volumes to communicate how much someone matters. Your energy, your steady presence, your unwavering focus can say more than words ever could. And when you master this, you'll notice she starts to lean in more, to trust you deeper, to show those subtle signs with more frequency. Remember, the goal here isn't to control or manipulate her feelings. That's not Stoic wisdom. Instead, it's to become so grounded and centered that you naturally inspire her obsession, a byproduct of your inner strength. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. Your reaction to her slight jealousy can either build a bridge between you or create distance. Choose to build, choose calm, choose to lead with quiet confidence. So take this insight and make it yours. Observe closely, respond mindfully, and act consistently. These tiny moments of jealousy are more than just emotions. They're windows into her heart. And when you learn to read them with patience and clarity, you step into a new level of connection. one where desire grows naturally and silently, just like a powerful force beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered. There you have it, the 7 silent signs she's secretly obsessed with you. Sometimes, the most powerful feelings are the ones she doesn't say out loud, but her actions reveal everything. If you've noticed any of these signs, maybe it's time to pay closer attention and see what's really going on beneath the surface. If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights into female psychology and relationships. Got your own stories or signs you've noticed? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. Until next time, stay curious, stay confident, and keep decoding those silent signals.